Hattie, and I am back with Vito Verona Part 4. So this is going to be a very quick speed build, as you can see. And what I was doing is I was readjusting Vito Verona's house. We had a lot of money to play with, so I thought for that it would just be really interesting if I redid it a bit. We had, I think, about 3,000 or 4,000 when I did one more harvest and also sold the stuff that we originally had. I thought it would just be really interesting if we moved on to where Vito does actually have a house and stuff. So he has a house now, which is reassuring, and we can get him out of the horrible atmosphere that he was in, and also that will give him a little bit of privacy as well. The house isn't going to be that big, but I'm hoping that in the next couple of parts it will be. I actually did 2 makeovers on this build because what happened was I did this house and then I did another house for him. Well, it was the same house, but what happened was I did another harvest. I got about 1,500 to 2,000 more, and I thought, well, why not just do 2 speed builds in one? So I think this is how the Let's Play is pretty much going to go, or at least the challenge. I think that every single time we do get more money, at the start of an episode, it will be a speed build, which will be really interesting for the people that do like my speed builds themselves and follow those. And also, if you just want to tune in for a speed build, then you get a short one here. So it's pretty interesting. This was his house though. It's got some pretty basic furniture in. I didn't actually get rid of the stuff that we originally had from the outside. I thought that it was important to keep it, especially as I thought that doing this would just be the best solution to it. And also, it just means we can save a bit of money, and when we can get more stuff, then of course that's fantastic. We will see what happens. But I actually think that it's going pretty well. The build does have a straw roof at this point, but I actually think that in later parts of it, I will change the roofing so it's not always going to be straw. I just thought with having a straw hut would be just really accurate to what I would imagine it being, and that's why I decided to do it there. The house itself is going to extend as well, so hopefully after a while we'll get separate rooms for everything, so the kitchen will be a little bit bigger and we can actually see what's going on inside there at the moment, because sometimes it's really difficult to see what's going on in the kitchen, especially as it's so incredibly small. And I think with everything else, I think that it would just be really interesting that way. I did give him a little easel as well. I didn't actually think about the fact that he can't use the easel if he's tense. So it's a lose-lose situation. I didn't actually think about that, but you'll see that. And I think as well, I think that the house needed a bathroom, so I put that in. And I thought the bathroom was actually very handy. It's not going to fit a lot in at the moment, but I actually think that when it comes to being able to afford a toilet, it will give him a lot more privacy, and it will just mean that it's just so much better. It's just such a difference to then just going outside in a bush. And I think what I'll do is I'll move the bush to the front and use it as a decoration when it stops smelling, so we'll do that. This was when I was just finishing off the last bits to this area, and we are nearly ready to jump into the episode. So we are back with part 4 of the Rags to Riches challenge, and at the moment Vito has just gone to sleep. Just to pause the game for a second and show you what's going on. Now, I did move Dahlia and her father Yuji into this house across the road. Now, this is actually a very old one of my builds. I slightly renovated it before I did the Let's Play, and I think it looks pretty interesting in get-together, paneling, colours, etc. But yeah, this is where they're going to be living. So right across the road from Vito, and this is Dahlia here. So she's just gone for a morning jog, I think. I'm not sure what she was doing out. But I think when he has probably done all his things, he might go knock on the door and introduce himself to the neighbours. Now, I think that initially, I don't think the father will mind so much with him just introducing himself. I think if he gets too friendly with Dahlia, that's when arguments are going to start to happen. And you probably know me by now, I absolutely love drama in my Let's Plays. I can't stay away from it. I don't know, I just do. So he's going to have his cereal at the moment. He's having Special K? No, it's not. It's that weird Fruit Loop cereal. Oh my gosh. Everybody eats that. Everybody likes that cereal apart from me, or at least that's how I feel sometimes. So yeah, he's going to get his hunger up, and I think that after that, he's probably going to have to do something fun. And I think as well, I think plants are definitely a top priority at the moment. Probably harvest all of them. And also tend his garden. I really do want to exchange some of these plants for other plants. So, for instance, I think that when he can get rid of some of the carrots, I would really like to see some tulips, I think, because you get quite a lot of money from tulips. And I think that will really help us. Why are we still finding decorated eggs? We've found them all, but I suppose we can just keep selling them. They're actually worth quite a little bit of money. And when I say a little bit of money, I mean 10 simoleons, which is actually quite a lot. I think these are the expensive things to sell. I think they are, yeah, 78 simoleons. That's quite a lot. I think I'm just going to sell them, actually. Yeah, I think I'm just going to sell them and get them out the way. So I'm going to do that. And he keeps finding these decorative eggs. But I think eventually, I'm really hoping anyway, that these plants will die. As bad as that sounds, I would love them to. I would really love them to. So I can plant some more. And that will mean that we'll just have lots more room. It looks like these are pretty much running out anyway. Disposing of some dead plants and getting rid of some stuff. And I don't know why these plants just grow just randomly here in our little walkway. This is supposed to be a walkway. He never walks here, but it's only for effect. It's just to make it look like he walks here. So he's going to carry on doing this, and I am hoping he will be done doing that soon, because I would really like him probably before, I'm going to say about 4 or 5 o'clock, to go and introduce himself to the neighbours. Because having new neighbours is always, always fun. And in fact, one of the really, really big things that I think is important is, of course, getting on with your neighbours. It's so, so sad if you don't get on with your neighbours. And I, unfortunately, don't get on with a pair of mine. But yeah, so I think that would be really nice if he did. And I think that after he's done all that, I think he's done it. Maybe he's just got to dispose of stuff. Oh my gosh, look who it is. Usually Roses has just been knocking on his door and he's going to give him a friendly introduction. Bless him, his back's going. Okay, so he's got to hurry up and probably go and speak to him. Otherwise, usually we'll think that he's very, very rude. Unfortunately for Vito, he does need to go to the toilet and he also needs a shower. This is perfect for usually, though, to see Vito in this way, because he'll be thinking, okay, Vito, he's a complete mess. He is a complete mess, this guy. I don't have to invite him round again. And he's probably not going to like my daughter. That's probably what he'll be thinking at this exact moment. But that is completely against what's going to happen. So I think that they would just talk for a little bit, but that will get Vito's social up. Who's this then? I get so easily distracted at everything. I've never seen her before. Why is she here? I have no idea. She looks like she's come from Windenburg. So he's going to talk to him for a little bit. But I would actually like him to probably go around the back here and fertilise the bush. He probably needs to clean it out as well, but I don't know how you can. I don't even know if you can do that. I thought that you could clean it, but apparently you can't, which is still a bit odd. And then what I want him to do is dispose of these dead plants and probably tend the garden. Oh, who's this? She's looking so sad. Why is she sad? Probably because she's got told off by her dad for not coming round or something. I don't know. Why she got told off, I have no idea. Okay, well, this is really, really bad because he needs to do his stuff. I don't want him to look terrible in front of them. Okay, maybe we'll leave the gardening stuff for a second. And at least he can go out and invite both the neighbours into his home. And yeah, that's a pretty good start, actually. It's actually really nice that they have came to see him, because it's usually Bella and Mortimer Goth. Every single opportunity possible, those two will start knocking on people's doors. They are so nosy. So he's just invited them both in, and there really isn't a lot here. So this is a little bit embarrassing for him, I think. He's feeling pretty heartbroken as well. And the dad isn't liking the smell. He feels like he needs to be snobby and point that out, which is horrid. But I don't think that Dahlia will mind. In fact, Vito is going to give Dahlia a friendly interaction and probably ask how she is. Don't want him to give fake bad news. That's horrible. And she is a good sim, so we have to be very, very careful with that as well. He doesn't actually know her that well yet. It's very unusual for you usually to leave Dahlia here. I don't know. I wouldn't expect it. I really wouldn't expect that. Maybe he just doesn't see Vito as anything at the moment. I don't know. He looks like a complete and utter mess because he hasn't had a shower yet. So maybe he could discuss interests with her, because we want to find out more about her, and that will give him a little bit of a chance. So he doesn't know them yet, and I love how Cheyenne has slowly become a little bit less disliked. Oh my gosh, what's happened? Okay, so they're not getting on too well. That's really odd, actually. Okay, let's do... She's not liking the smell, though. Oh, okay. I think that he really, really does need a shower. So he's going to do that now. In fact, no, he's actually doing that by himself. That's pretty good, because hopefully that will make everybody feel a little bit less uncomfortable. I would definitely say that would be the case, and it's a really lose-lose situation here because it means that when the neighbours come and not round, if he hasn't had a shower and if he needs a shower, they're going to be waiting at the door and he won't be able to answer it because he'll be in the shower. So they're going to dislike him no matter what. By the way, he's going to have a shower now, and that is what he is hopefully doing. He's taking his time in there, and then he's going to come out and speak to these two again. In fact, I'm probably going to move this to the back. I think that's probably the best thing that I can do. And let's see. I love how he's got a little eggplant frog there. That's so cute. He's also got his pathetic display of Easter eggs here, just because we haven't got any money. I say we haven't got any money. We've actually got quite a lot of money. Maybe we'll hire a gardener. I think that we probably will after the next round of tending the garden. That's what we will do. Okay, he's really taking his time with the shower, though. I'm going to hurry him up. This is ridiculous, Vito. Nobody should spend an hour in the shower or more than that. I don't know. I just feel like 15 to 20 minutes is perfect for a shower, not an hour. That's crazy. So he's going to come back out, and I want him to ask her about her day, and I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing dirty around here that would possibly make them fall out. I think that I have moved everything that could potentially make them feel uncomfortable, so these plates are just randomly floating in the air again. I'll probably sort that out at some point, and I'll probably do that. But in the meantime, why don't we discuss local fishing spots? Actually, that's a very, very interesting thing because I don't know if these two would know anything about the outdoors. In fact, they probably wouldn't, but it would be really nice, as in to teach them about new areas. That would be really cute. And he's getting his social skill up, which is lovely. And it's also nice that he has met Dahlia. And I can imagine that as soon as they met, I don't know, there was just an instant connection there. That's how I like to think about it. I don't want him to complain about his problems or anything, and I definitely don't want him to be infusing her to steal. So I think that apart from that, he is going to get to know her or discuss interests. I think at this point the father might be starting to worry as well. Oh yeah, of course. I should really get going now. See you later. Yeah, of course. But yeah, so he's going to talk to her, brighten her day, and I think after that she's probably going to leave. She's probably just going to say, well, I've got to go anyway because my father probably wants me back home for some reason. And she's going to go. But I think that that's perfect because at least we have met them. It obviously means that we haven't gone around to their house, which I really, really want to do at some point. I want to show you inside there. It's not actually that good on the interior. I don't think it's a really, really old house that I made. But we'll see. I'll find out, and I have no idea. And maybe give her a heartfelt compliment before she leaves. She looks like she wants to leave though. So maybe at the moment he could go round and tend the garden, and if anything needs to go at this point, then it can. I also did get him a stereo because I got a really amazing suggestion saying that he could possibly dance whilst he was doing the gardening, and I don't know if this works. In fact, I'm not sure if it will yet. We're just going to have to see what happens because I really, really don't know. But we're going to turn it on because that'll be a good start. Easy listening, that's fantastic. So he's doing quite well in the way that he is just going to start disposing these plants, and he'll probably get an early night tonight. I should really get going now. Thanks for hanging out. See you later. I love how she stayed though. That's just so cute. Just instant attraction right there. I love it. So now what's going to happen is he's just going to carry on doing these. I'm not sure how they're reversing from the dead, or at least that's how it seems to me. It seems like they're reversing back. So what was brown and like discoloured is now just really green and nice and glossy. I have no idea why that happens. But he's going to do that. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit more because I really, really want him to start disposing of some of these plants. And also, I want him to have a lot more money in his bank account because that means that when that's done, so he's got another 356 simoleons from that. Okay, so he's earning quite a lot. I hear there's a great party going down at the club right now. I want to check it out. I think we will later, but we've just got to do this because we have been not occupied on this whatsoever all day. And I think when you're first starting a proper garden area, I think it's really, really important that you stick by it and you make sure it all gets done, because otherwise you'll have nothing to harvest and it will all die and he won't be able to make any money from that. And I think that he has had his social interactions for the day, so I want him to dispose of these dead plants as well. And I also want him to harvest all the plants because that is incredibly, incredibly important. Okay, why is he very tense? He needs some fun in his life. What can we do for fun? Maybe he could paint. Oh, he's far too tense to do that. Well, that is just a losing circle you're in. All right, let's get him something. What should we get him? Okay, let's do activities, skills. He's not going to do anything with the guitar because the problem is I think that will just be the same thing. So what about electronics? If we got him... Oh, no, he can dance. He can dance for fun. It's going to look really odd. In fact, at the moment, I want him to carry on making whatever he's making, and then he can carry on with his everyday life, which should be pretty good. And I don't know what he's making. It's not looking very nice. Whatever it is, it's bad enough to pour it into the sink before you start. So let's eat these scrambled eggs. I think he's even debating whether to eat it or not because I don't know, it doesn't look very nice. I really, really don't like scrambled eggs. I don't know what it is, but I can't deal with them. I honestly can't. I don't like egg that much. In fact, I'll only eat egg if it's in cakes or something because I love cakes. Everybody loves cakes. But I think that, I don't know, me personally, I'm not into that. Okay, so he's going to have that. After that, he can dance and he can do his stuff before he has to go to sleep. I'm actually pretty proud of him because it means that he is doing pretty well, even though all this stuff is smelling. It's going to look a lot better in, I'm guessing, a couple of minutes. And I'm hoping that when that happens, it will just, it'll just be so nice. And hopefully next time as well, I'll do another speed build with the amount of money that he has. And I'm hoping that that'll be a lot easier for him to cope with. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so at the moment, he's just getting his fun skill up and he's reading a book, which is interesting. And I'm going to leave him to do that for a second, just to make sure that he's not that intense. Intense? I don't know. Either way, he's not going to be it. And he's feeling uncomfortable. But I'm going to put him into the back now, I think. In fact, he needs sleep. He always needs something. Why does he always need something? It's crazy how much he actually needs. All right, so what if he was to dispose of all these dead plants, possibly turn this music off? I don't know. In fact, no, we'll leave it on. And then what I'm going to do is... Where is he? Where's he gone? Okay, he's there. But he still hasn't finished. He still hasn't done it all. He's still going, still trying to get away from it. I'm going to make him. I'm really, really going to make him because otherwise we're not going to get it done. And I want him to be able to hopefully get rid of a lot of these and start a new plot. And I think after this time as well, I want him to hire a gardener. In fact, I think we'll be doing that shortly. I think that a gardener would really help us out right now. I don't know how expensive it's going to be, but I'm hoping that what will happen is when we do hire a gardener, it will take so much pressure off of what he has to do, so we won't have to do that much after all, and he can focus on his other stuff like social stuff, like meeting friends, things, going out to parties with Don Lothario, because that's exactly what Don Lothario wants him to do. That's why Don Lothario keeps bringing us up. So he's nearly finished with that, which is pretty good. And I'm hoping that when that's finished, let's see what we have to sell, actually. Oh my gosh, we have so much stuff. Okay, all the carrots can go because you don't actually get that much from carrots. I think they're only worth about 2 simoleons each. And then I think potentially in the next part, I'm just going to extend these places a little bit. I'll probably make another field. So there'll be another field next to this, maybe around here. So that'll be pretty interesting. And I think apart from that, okay, he's really, really uncomfortable. So the best thing I can do now is probably get him to hire a gardener. So he's going to do that. He's going to hire a service. Let's see what we can do. Schedule gardener service. So they're going to arrive on Monday. So we still have about 2 days without the gardener, which is fine. It's manageable. Now, those don't get that much either, unfortunately. So I'm probably going to sell those. And let's see what else we have. They're 3 simoleons. They're 1. Oh, they're 7 each. Oh my gosh, I just sold the most expensive ones. I'm going to get him to sleep because I was going to get him to garden, but I actually think it's probably best if he does sleep. I also think that I will get him a better bed. I think that will help as well, but I don't know how much that will help. We will see what happens there. And these plants are still smelling. Oh my gosh, no. No, you can't hang out and it's not okay. Oh, but he really wants to. I feel really sorry for Don. Aww. Okay, you can come over. You can come over. It's fine. I wish that we could get people to opt into doing things for us. I'd love to see Don Lothario just sort of dig in and start gardening with us. I'd love that. And it would actually be so helpful. And if he desperately wants to be Vito's friend, that would be a huge part of it anyway. So we're going to say hello to him, but I don't think we're going to see him that much. Probably just talk to him. It'd be actually really sweet if these two were very close friends. I'd love that. And I think that Don desperately wants that because Don is always bothering Vito. Every single opportunity he can get, he is always on our case, just round here, just bothering us. So nothing against it, of course, but that is just his personality. I think Vito would probably complain about his problems. And I don't know if Don would just go on into the house and do what he wants. But I think that after we have probably spoken to him, he said what he needs to say. His social's going up, that's pretty good though, because that will mean that he's less tense. Then he can go back to gardening, and I think I will get him a television in the next part. I think that will be pretty interesting to get him as well, because I think with a television, it just means that he can do so much more. And I think that for his entertainment purposes, I think that will be really easy to make sure that that's up. So he's disposing of these dead plants, and he's got to dispose of so many of them. Oh my gosh, so many of them. It's probably just worth waiting for the gardener to come round, but I just don't know whether to yet. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to dispose of all these dead plants. Where has Don Lothario gone? Okay, so he's just standing in the house. I'm going to get rid of this area as well, because I'd love a proper seating area here. Oh my gosh, this bin looks so bad. Let's empty the bin. Empty trash. You need an outdoor trash can. You need an outdoor trash can. That's what we're going to do then. We're going to get him an outdoor one. So I've had this problem before. It's really odd. So maybe it's going to get this one. I think that looks actually quite neat. And even though it's quite a lot of money, I think that will be good to empty our trash out there. I wish that we didn't have to empty the bin into that bin and then take that bin out to another bin. It does actually make a lot of sense though for it to happen that way, and I think that is just very accurate to how it is in real life, because that's exactly what I do. He's only got a few more plants to go though, luckily, so we've just got to go around here and dispose of them. I also want him to have a proper lads' night out with Don Lothario. I just love how patient Don's being just in the kitchen there, just reading, because there's nothing else to do. I feel so sad for him. It's probably because there aren't many people in the neighbourhood as well. That's why Don wants a friend. And I think this is probably the most awkward conversation ever. But, you know, it's fine. I think as well, he's just going to start disposing of more things. I don't know how this dead plant would fit in this bin. Somebody please explain it to me, because I can't. I cannot think of a reason for that. But yeah, so Don's gone home. That's pretty good. And I'm just going to get Vito to get rid of all these plants, and hopefully after that he'll be able to tend the garden. And I want him to plant some new plants right over here, and I'm going to get him to do that with the tulips, because if we get 6 or 7 simoleons per tulip planted, I actually think the gardener will be well worth it, and the gardener will actually pay for himself or herself after a while. So I'm hoping that he can do that, but he does also need to tend all this garden and dispose of these plants. I wish they didn't do this. I wish they just died, because it's so distracting for them to stink like this, and I'm pretty sure that dead plants don't smell. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience around plants, but I don't think that they would smell. I can't imagine them smelling. So there's that interesting bit of information. I think that I will sell off these things. Yeah, they're only worth 3 simoleons each, and he's got 420 simoleons from that. That's really, really good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the little bits and bobs. And I also think that eventually I'd love to have those fireflies. Is it dragonflies? Fireflies? I'm not sure what they are. He's going super quick though. He really, really needs to. He needs to do this. He's only got a couple more to go. I think he's got maybe this one over here and also this one. I wish I could bring them all back to life via the secret fountain or something. I think that's what it's called. I have no idea. But yeah, so lots and lots of room for brand new plants, which I'm actually very excited about, because I think that's going to give him a lot more money. And it also means that we can get rid of the carrots, the sages, I think. I don't think the sages get that much, but I don't know. All right, now that he's done that, oh my gosh, he's got so much stuff to do. He keeps needing a shower constantly. He's only just, oh no, he actually needs one. I'm going to get him back in there actually. And then he's got to get rid of this last one. And then we really don't have that many plants, which is good and bad at the same time. Because of course it means that he does need to tend this garden and do all that fun stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this part here and I will see you all for part 5. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for the next part, then please let me know and I will speak to you all soon.